Tom's been on every day, so we have other callers other than Tom. I appreciate his enthusiasm. Seven, six. Yeah, it's true. If you don't have genuine fans, you use canned fans. It's not canned spam. You can't put it on a sandwich, but you can put it in a show. And I am grateful for my canned fans. I'm Marshall Silver. It is almost Christmas. I know because my 3 children keep reminding me, it's almost Christmas, Daddy, almost Christmas. So I'm in the Christmas spirit. If you haven't checked in with us over the last couple of days, we've been having some fun. And I've been grateful at the amount of energy and the amount of interest and the amount of calls coming in asking for advice about sex, money, and power and all things that matter in your life. In addition, I also have been giving away thousands, I can say it now, plural, thousands of dollars in real U.S. currency, cash, baby, cash, $1,000 at a time. 2 days ago, Cesar Espino won it. Yesterday, Laura Oblon won it, and I am about to give $1,000 away again today. Here's how it works. It's really simple. I am not here to make money during these 3 days. Kind of just something fun I wanted to do. Frankly, I miss it. I have been broadcasting since I was 17 years old. My very first broadcast job was at a place called FM 104 K-Joy. Beautiful and relaxing. Music to have your teeth drilled by. And at 17 years old, I caught the bug of broadcasting. I've had radio shows, television shows for years and years and years. And for years and years, I've been off the air. And so I said, how much fun would it be to just get back on right before Christmas, especially in these times when I know that people have been hurting, they've been uncertain, they've been living in fear. And frankly, that's how most people have been controlled. They've been living in fear. I pray it's not you. And also, finances have been tight for people. The economy has been turned upside down intentionally. And I said, what if we got back and did some just blessings for people? Maybe it's a word that I give. Maybe it's some direction that I give you in your life. Maybe it's the actual cash too. So how this works is for the next 90 minutes or so, I'm going to be with you, taking your questions right on this stream. If you want to get in and ask me a question, there's a link in the comment section. Click on the link. We'll get you into the green room. If your question is fascinating, if your question is fascinating to me and my team, then we'll put you on the air. If we put you on the air, you are automatically in the hat to potentially win $1,000 cash. And at the end of the program, last 5 or 10 minutes of the program, I'll have everybody vote. And whoever votes, whoever gets the most votes gets the $1,000 cash. That's how Cesar got it. That's how Laura got it. And that's how you may get it too. Anything is on the table. You want to ask me about anything at all, I am here to answer your questions. And I'm excited to dive into this. We are here, in the studio, and right by the studio opened up a coffee place called Lofty Coffee. And I just want to give a shout out to Lofty Coffee for a really good cup of coffee. My understanding is they've been around for 10 years now here in Southern California. They've got 6 locations. And I really love the entrepreneurial spirit. The producer, Zeke, asked me this morning, because he's the one that told me to go over there to check out the coffee. He said, so are you a fan now? And I said, yeah, the coffee is delicious. But I'll tell you what, experience is even better. Every time I've gone in there, the entire staff is glowing right through their masks. They're glowing, they're smiling, they're joyful. And what I know is that people will pay more for a better experience. They'll pay more for a better experience. And all things being equal, when the experience is better, that's when people will become your customer. So you want to make people raving fans, give them a better experience. So good. Hey, I'm excited to have so many of you here. I'm going to dive right in quickly, and we're going to put Dan freaking Bernhardt is with me. Dan freaking Bernhardt, welcome to the show. Always great to see your perfect head and your beautiful smile. Glad you're here. Yeah, you look good, baby. You look good.
Thanks, man.
Walked up to me the other day, and they said, I see we have the same barber. I said, I don't know about you, but mine is naked in the shower with me when he's cutting my hair. So I don't think we have the same barber. I think we have different barbers. In fact, I'm positive. Where are you calling in from?
I am calling from Texas, actually, in Grand Prairie.
Lovely. Grand Prairie, Texas. And how awesome is your day?
Day is amazing. Getting better every minute.
It's a choice. It really is. Getting better all the time. So what's your question today?
What do you contribute to your most successful financial success and that's duplicatable? And how would you recommend somebody get started doing that?
I noticed you put an emphasis on, you said success. And I think you mean success, but you said success. I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
And that's a phenomenal question. And the reason that's a phenomenal question is I think the antithesis of that question, antithesis of the answer actually, is the reason people don't succeed. If you look up persistence in the dictionary, you will see my picture. And I pray that in time I would see your picture and anybody else that wants to succeed. I think that often that is the only thing that divides people, is most people just give up too fast on everything. They settle into mediocrity and they just decide, you know what, I'm not going to have that life. And I liken it to the metaphor, you have a baby, all three of my beautiful babies, Sterling, Max, and Prosperity, they all started walking about the same age, about 13 months. And Sterling waited until I came back from my 22 days in China. Literally, the night I came back after a 13-hour flight from Hong Kong, I walk in the front door and he walked right up to me. It was like he waited until Daddy got home to show me that he could walk. And it was amazing. We were filming it because I was coming home from a long trip. And so we got it on video. Max, I wanted to experiment. And Max, I got to walk by having him hold a towel for balance. And as we would walk along, he would hold the towel rather than my hand just for balance. And then one day I loosened my grip and he was walking along with the towel in his hand, thinking I was still holding on to it when I wasn't. Prosperity surprised us. She didn't walk. We were having a party, a birthday party or some kind of a party, and Erica put a hula skirt on her. And the second she put the hula skirt on Prosperity, Prosperity stood up and she didn't even walk. She sashayed. She hulaed across the patio. It was amazing. My point of the story is that, if your kid doesn't walk by a year or 12 or 13 months or 15 months or 18 months, you don't give up and say, oh gosh, my kid's not going to be a walker. Might as well expect them to crawl forever. You say, no, the kid's going to walk eventually. And I think that that's what most people don't understand, is that as long as you've got a breath in you, you need to keep swinging the bat and have sensory acuity. And so you asked me, the second part of the question is what's duplicatable? And that's a really smart thing for you to ask. And so not only is persistence essential, it's got to be there. The second thing is when I look at somebody else that's succeeding, when I look at somebody else that's doing something and they're winning, I say, okay, what are they doing? And I can throw my noodles against the wall and make them look as close to what I think I see as possible and yet still not succeed. Then I've got to come back and say, okay, maybe I'm not exact. Maybe I'm a little bit off. Maybe I've got to tweak something. Maybe I'm not really in what we call a target-rich environment. Maybe I'm not really selling to the right kind of people, so on and so forth. I'll give you a great example from my life. I became a hypnotist at 17. I started teaching people personal and business development by the time I was 23, with an emphasis initially on personal development. And while my seminars were often quite filled for that time anyway, 150, 200 people, I wasn't making much money. And month after month, I would do the events and the people would be there and they would love the event. And I would get praises and I would watch people getting off drugs and marriages saved, relationships started, people being joyful. I wasn't seeing the financial prosperity that I knew was possible for me. And it was a distinction for me because I thought I was doing what I saw other people doing. And the distinction for me was the understanding that something is a hard topic or a soft topic. And let me be clear on that. In all of our life, everything is either soft or hard. When you ask somebody how much is a great marriage or relationship worth, ironically, if they're in one, they'll say, oh, you couldn't put a price tag on it. If you go through a divorce, you'll know exactly what that relationship was worth. The thing about it is, if you ask them how much is your health worth, oh, it's priceless. Well, yeah, when you have it. And when you don't have it, there's a price point on it. You'll give every dime you have to have your health back. So what my job is for you, and what your job is to duplicate from the question that you asked me, what you want to duplicate is what's the hard topic? Where do I put $100 into a machine and the machine spits out $500 or $1,000? And how do I keep doing that until I finally tweak the machine to work properly? I will tell you, every single time I've ever had a massive success, almost every single time I had what I thought were massive failures prior to that. My infomercial. I had an idea for an infomercial in 1994 called Passion, Profit, and Power because I didn't think that I could get sex, money, and power sold then. And I went to 100 different producers to produce my show, and all of them said no. In fact, 98 of them said it was a really bad idea. It would never work. The 2 that said yes were offering such horrible deals, I knew there was no point. Finally, I came back, and I produced the show myself. I took my last 10 grand, and I went $250,000 in debt to get the show done. And as they say, the rest is history. The show produced over $120 million in the first year. And so I realized it was a success. With that success, I went to Vegas. I'd always wanted to star on the Strip at a main casino, on the main stage of a main casino. And I went to Vegas. And it took me a year of knocking on doors and being told no again and again and again and again until finally a door opened and I got a chance to be at the Sahara. I opened my show up, and in the first 4 months, I lost $600,000. Night after night after night, I'm going out to 30 people in my audience, and it's just not working. One little adjustment, one little tweak took me from struggling with 30, 40, 50 people in this 1,500 seat showroom to being sold out in 1 week. One minor tweak. And so I always tell everybody, you are one tweak, one minor idea away. I used to say 1 million. Now I know that's not true. We are all one idea away from $1 billion with a B. And so I will say to you, yes, sometimes it feels like we just are praying for a win. And sometimes the fact is, it's not even elements to do with our business that are hurting us. Sometimes it's relational toxicity. Sometimes it is we've got bad business partners, or maybe we're in a profession that while it's comfortable for us and it makes us money and we're kind of complacent, it's just not the knock it out of the park grand slam home run we're looking for, nor does it fulfill us. You know, again, I'm not making any money on this show. I've done this for the 3 days that I promised for one reason. Well, that's not true. Selfishly, I did it because I wanted to. The other reason, though, is I really believe people need something in these times. And as you know, I really believe people need this voice. They need this reassurance on a regular basis. I told my wife, Erica, I said, should we get enough people on the stream over those 3 days, I might consider doing this every single day, Monday through Friday in the new year. I haven't decided yet. I haven't seen quite enough people that I want to see, and only you guys can make that happen. Except I said that I will joyfully do it for these 3 days because I think in those 3 days, I'll be able to say something that will change some people's hearts and minds, and maybe, just maybe, make the world a slightly better place, and the ripple effect will carry onward. Wayward son. I guess Kansas jumps in there to mind. So at any rate, that's the answer. That number one, you got to persist. And that is the hardest part for most of the population. Number two, you got to hack success. You got to keep looking at somebody else, no matter how minor their successes are, and say, okay, how did they get that little piece of success? How did they land that customer? How did they make that money? How did they structure their offers, their process, their business? Like I said, I'm standing at Lofty Coffee by the studio here. There is a coffee shop directly across the street. Now, I, for one, will never buy a Starbucks coffee again in my lifetime. Howard Schultz, the owner, is so far off the path of sanity in what he's done in recent years. I refuse to give a single dime to that man or his business. And that's unfortunate for the shareholders because they had a good idea, except that's absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's going to be people like Lofty that give phenomenal customer service again, that make sure that you feel really, I walked in, this is my second time in there, and the guy knew my name immediately. Who does that anymore? Businesses that succeed do that, Dan. I, for one, am grateful you are in my life. I am grateful you got on the show today. You are totally loved. We are great friends, and we will be great friends for life. And I promise you, you're in the right place at the right time. And I seldom see somebody that when I meet them and I get to know them, I know they have turned a major corner and that corner is going to produce for them everything they want in every single area. And I promise you, that's your corner. This is your turning point. Speaking of turning point, I would love to see you again in January live or at your satellite event there in Texas for your own group. You're totally loved, brother. Hey, stay around. See if you might not win the $1,000 cash. I'd like nothing more than to have it be you.
Oh, I am. Thank you.
Awesome, brother. You take care, Dan. I'll talk to you soon. That's such a good question. How do we succeed when we feel like we're getting knocked down again and again and again and again? And it comes down to knowing thyself. You have to have sensory acuity yourself. You have to be able to discern, am I on the right path? And I think that the path, no matter what you're doing, the path is joy. Are you having fun? Even if you're not winning, again, we're not making money right now. And I don't view this as a business. Could this be a business? Absolutely. Would I love to be able to be here 5 days a week, couple hours a day, handing out cash, answering questions? I would. Nothing would make me happier than to be that conservative voice that the world needs right now, that tells the truth, that helps people get out of the insanity. I was pondering this morning, and one of the things I was pondering is the best way to control people is keep them afraid. The best way to make sure that people follow direction is to keep them afraid. I was walking up the street and I saw a family all by themselves, nobody else around them. It was 4 people. It looked like 2 parents and 2 kids. And they were wearing not only masks, they were also wearing face coverings. And as they were walking along, again, everybody's got their opinion and everybody should do what they want to do. That's first and foremost. Except I was thinking that the fear that is being instilled in these kids, that their immune system isn't enough, that's been enough forever. I worry about our population. I worry about our planet. And again, if I die and I'm wrong, then I'd like the proof that I died because I was wrong so that other people could be right. I'm never wrong. That's all. And oh, by the way, humble is my middle name. It is my middle name. So at any rate, it's so hard in a studio because nobody smiles here or laughs, and apparently my jokes are usually just for me. So who else we got? Philip Rogers. Philip Rogers, you are next live on the air. My God,
Hello.
What is this? Perfect head day?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you look good.
Yeah.
Hey, where are you calling from?
I'm in Jacksonville, Florida.
I love Jacksonville. One of my favorite people on the planet is in Jacksonville. I named
Who's
Ron
that?
LeGrand. Ron LeGrand.
Nice.
Ron teaches real estate investing strategies. Yeah. A lot of people don't know this about Jacksonville. Jacksonville, by landmass, isn't it the largest city in the country?
Yeah, it's crazy how big it is. It can get 45 minutes to an hour just to go to one side of town to the other. It's huge.
Yeah, that's crazy. And to think, most people, if you said Jacksonville, where's that? The largest landmass city in the country. What's your question?
It's kind of a loaded one. So my wife and I recently, like 2.5 weeks ago, we experienced some massive loss in our family. My wife was pregnant with twins and they got delivered early via emergency C-section at 26 weeks. And 4 days later, we ended up losing one of them. And we've got 2 businesses that we've been working, and they were doing really well up until this, and just now it's just like I've hit this wall kind of, and it feels like one of them's really struggling, the other one's doing okay, but now my time is split even more trying to go to Tampa General to see our baby that's still thriving there. And we're trying to sell this business here, and it's been daunting trying to keep my mindset right to keep moving forward. And I'm just kind of grasping at ways to keep positive going forward with things so that the businesses don't, because obviously this is our main income to provide for our family. So whatever advice you have for me on this.
Yeah. What are your 2 businesses?
So we're chiropractors. And so we've got a human chiropractic office here in Jacksonville called Rivertown Chiropractic because we live in Ocala, Florida. And so Jacksonville is about 2 hours away from where we live. And now our baby that's in the NICU is in Tampa, and that's an hour and a half away from where we live. So I need to be home more. And then our other business, it's another chiropractic business. My wife and I were also certified animal chiropractors. So we do chiropractic work on dogs, horses, cats, cows, pigs, anything but a snake. And
don't blame you.
So
there's way too much vertebrae in a snake.
Shifting from the human office that we have here and just focusing on the mobile business, doing house calls and barn calls and stuff. And so that's what our business is right now.
So I have another great friend in Ocala. Her name is Robin Thompson, and Robin actually has a farm there. She has horses there, and chances are you probably have met her and don't even realize it. Back to the point of your question, a few things I want to answer and address. First of all, sorry for your loss. I recognize how devastating that must be. And there's no words that I can say, obviously, that are going to make up for the loss of one of the babies that your wife was pregnant with. The other thing that I really adhere to, and this is a hard one, and I know it's hard because I have had personal loss in my life. The reason that I went from being just a stage hypnotist to doing what I do now, teaching people not only for their businesses, also in their personal lives, is my niece Lelania died of a heroin overdose at 21 years old. And I was already rolling in the dough. I'd already made tens of millions of dollars, living the life of my dreams, and then all of a sudden stopped in my tracks to realize that none of this matters, first and foremost. The second thing I know is that as much as I don't want to accept it, even the bad things, even the things that we wouldn't have, happen for a reason, and they serve us. I have a couple down in Florida that I love very much, the Curtins. And unfortunately, they lost a son in his youth. I think he was about 10 years old. They had a second son that was slightly younger, maybe around 4 years younger. And when they came to me, the sorrow, of course, was so deep that she just didn't know what to do. Neither one of them knew what to do. And particularly, Michelle didn't know what to do. And I kept reminding her, life is for the living. And as painful as this is, you've got to focus on the living and be grateful for any moment you had. I know as a parent, and a parent of 10 children that I love so much, that are so precious, such perfect children, I know as a parent, every single day I am concerned for them and concerned for their well-being. That is what being a good parent is all about. I also know that part of the challenge for me as a good parent is to temper that, to balance that with letting them take a certain amount of risk. I'm sure you know this, and I'm probably not the first person to mention this to you. Did you know that Elvis Presley was a twin?
No.
Elvis Presley was a twin, and his twin brother died at birth. And, one of the things I thought about, and when you first said that, is I believe, especially with twins, I believe our souls are entwined. And I believe that that experience for your child that survived and is now thriving and will continue to thrive, that child now has the soul of two beings alive now, which makes them twice as much and twice as powerful and twice as loved. And it also gives them an enviable position to be able to straddle the universe, to not only be able to live here on a physical plane, to also be able to straddle into a spiritual plane and experience that level of greatness. There was a time when I was afraid, genuinely afraid to have children. And the reason I was afraid is that in the course of my life, I have seen many, what other people would call UFOs or alternate life forms. And I've had experiences that go beyond just seeing a speck of light in the sky, much more substantial than that. And so I have zero doubt that there are other intelligent life forces in our universe. In fact, I think it's rather vain to think that God makes the universe and takes this one teeny tiny speck of dust and says, okay, that's the only place in the entire universe that I've created that I'm going to put intelligent life. And people would mock me for that, and I'm cool with that. I don't really need other people's approval. But the thing, though, I was afraid of having children because I was afraid what happens if aliens come and attack our planet. What if aliens come and destroy our planet? I don't want to put my children into that drama and that pain and suffering. And then I thought, well, what if your son is John Connor? What if your son is the person that could actually, your son or your daughter could actually save the planet? Then it's very selfish of you to live in so much fear. So the first thing I will tell you and your bride is that you've got to find a way to be grateful for the child you just had. And as much as I recognize there's been a loss, do not let the child that has survived and will thrive, do not let them ever feel any loss of their birth, because that programming will sustain. And so as a parent, oftentimes we have to do things that are counterintuitive to what we think we should be doing. And right now you must celebrate every single moment that child is thriving and is here and is with you, and let go of the sorrow of what you may have lost. It is, unfortunately, God's plan. And I know that those are shallow words, and I know they're fairly meaningless, and I know that it's insensitive for me to even say it, yet I know that so many times we've got to surrender. So, was that helpful?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Second thing on your business, give yourself a break. You guys are going through stuff. Give yourself a break and realize that things are going to adapt, and you woke up. I mean, you realize things are precious. and not everything matters. And as much as your chiropractic business was thriving, you've come to realize that at the end of it all, none of this matters. And I would agree with that. Nothing physical does matter. I mean, it certainly makes our lives easier and more enjoyable, except ultimately what matters is you matter. And your bride matters, and my bride matters, and our families matter, and our extended family of choice matters. That's what matters. And, that's why I keep coming back to the concept and the certainty that together we got this. We're in this together. And that's the reason, you're the reason I'm doing this show. You're the reason that these 3 days are happening. Is I want people to ask those kinds of questions. And I am massively encouraged that you would have been drawn to my little teeny tiny broadcast and ask such a profound question, such an important question for so many people that may be suffering right now or may have had losses of many kinds in recent times. And so I just want you to know that your strength and your fortitude and your certainty will lift people up and inspire people in a time when we really need this right now on the planet, and that you are loved, your bride is loved, your baby is loved, you're doing great things. As far as your business goes, I'm going to leave you with 2 words: scalability and saleability. So many times professionals like chiropractors or doctors or dentists or speakers, they don't think about what is my exit strategy. At the end of the day, what am I building that can be sold? And the only way that you can create that is to figure out, how can I make this scalable? I mean, you can only do so many adjustments before you've run out of time, energy, or a willingness even. You can only do so much. And so you've got to figure out, what's my plan to scale this? Are we hiring other chiropractors? Do I become a marketer, which is really what a business owner should really be, is a marketer and a person that keeps hiring people to replace themselves? Ultimately, you have a business when you can go away from that business for a month at a time, and it not only stays in business, it actually does more business when you're gone. And then saleability. How can I sell this thing? How can I be completely removed from this thing and actually have an asset that is worth something when I'm gone? Take a look at the chiropractors that have thrived around you. They're the ones with multiple offices. They're the ones that aren't touching patients anymore. They're not putting hands on anymore. They just said, no, while that was my business and that is how I got here, and it's important for me to understand that portion of the business, I cannot be doing the adjustments anymore. And when you figure that out, it's always better to go one to many rather than one to one in a business, one to many. When you realize that scalable and saleable answer, you'll have the answer to your current circumstance.
Yep. So,
awesome. Hey, you're totally loved, brother. Make sure you stay tuned. You have one more question?
No, I was going to say I should hopefully see you in April in Dallas with Sean Dill, the Black Diamond Club.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm excited to be at Sean's event. So great. So I'm glad you found me through Sean, and I'm also glad to meet you in person. That's going to be phenomenal. Good stuff.
Cool.
God bless, brother. You bet. I'll talk to you soon. Stick around. You just might win $1,000. By the way, what's your baby's name?
The one that's still here is Emma Rose, and the one that we lost was Haley Grace.
So Emma, congratulations on being here, and God bless you guys. Congrats on your baby.
She's doing great right now. So thank you.
Bye now. You bet. I am so grateful for life in general, my life. As I mentioned a couple of times on this program, I went through open heart surgery this year, and I don't get sick. I mean, I'm just healthy. God blessed me. I mean, look at me. And I don't get sick. And so when I started having challenges toward the end of last year and the beginning of this year, I couldn't figure out what was going on. My brain refused to think it could have been anything. My father had very bad heart challenges. And when I went through what I went through, I realized my mortality. And I realized that we grow old too fast and that life is a blink. And that's one of the other reasons I'm here right now, is I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to make the world a better place while I'm here. And if I'm making your world a better place, let us know in the chat. Let your friends know. Share this broadcast. Get them here so that I can at least they can at least have a word or two. And like I said, before I come out here and do this broadcast, do this stream, I say a simple prayer. And the prayer is always, let the words that come out of my mouth be from a higher power, not be mine. Let the words that I say speak into the lives of the people that need to hear them. I mean, ultimately, social media, mainstream media, any kind of podcast or broadcast, it's fairly meaningless. Communication is everything. How we communicate inside of our own mind, the 1,500 words per minute that go through our brain telling us who we are and who we aren't, what we can be, what we can do, what we can have. The way we communicate to the outside world is a reflection of what's going on inside of our mind. So if you're not getting everything you want, it's because you're not communicating to the outside world in a way that the world responds to giving you what you want. It may be you're in an environment that none of the receptors will respond well to what you're saying. It may be that you're a positive human being in a negative environment, and you've got to remove yourself from that environment. Unfortunately, sometimes those people are family. Even worse, sometimes you're married to those kinds of people, and you've got to say, you know what? We're unevenly yoked. We shouldn't be together. We were supposed to be together for a season to learn something, and I've learned what I needed to learn, and what I needed to learn was to not be with people like you. Sometimes that's the answer, however unfortunate. Sometimes we are in the wrong profession. Sometimes we're doing something that maybe our parents did, or maybe we fell into. And even though it makes us even good money, which is worse, it's not what we want to be doing. And so you've got to be discerning enough. You've got to be realistic enough with yourself to be able to say, this isn't for me. I want something else. And so I ask people the question always, when you have $1 billion, when money is not a question in the equation whatsoever, what will you do with your life? I'm blessed today. I'm very grateful to be blessed today because I've had ups and I've had downs. And right now I'm in the middle of an up. Thank you, God. I am blessed today that today I don't have to make money, that today I can do this. And regardless of what comes from this, that I can do this. And by doing this, maybe help some other people get to the place where they can do whatever this is for them. Our next guest, Megan Butcher. You are live on Sex, Money, and Power. I love the fact, I like talking to the guys. That's all well and good. I think woman is God's gift to man. And I mean that in the most respectful way. And I'm so glad to see your beautiful face on my show.
Thank you. So my question, Marshall, is what should a woman do to be so irresistibly influential that a man couldn't resist being madly attracted to her and desire a committed, exclusive relationship that takes her off the market?
Wow. There's a lot. That's a really loaded question. There's a lot in that question. And that is a really, really good question. Number one, women have all the power. They do. And I think most women don't know that. I think most women don't recognize that men need women. Women don't need men. Men need women. Women don't need men. And while, a woman may want a man, she's got to come from a place of want, not need, first and foremost. Secondly, though, as ironic as it is, men want to be needed. We want to be useful. We want to be allowed to produce. Many women, such as yourself, are very powerful. And because you're so powerful, many men won't be interested, and they won't be interested because they're wimps. And because they're wimps, they know they're wimps, and they'll be afraid to be in that environment because they'll say, my gosh, eventually, no matter how much I fall in love with her, she's going to dump me anyway. And so I see that a lot of times with very powerful women. Except you said something at the very tail of that question, take them off the market. And I want you to understand the idea that you should let a man chase you until you catch him. And the reason I say that is I want to remind you that you are in control. First and foremost, the number one thing that contributes to our attractiveness is self-confidence. You hear me say it a lot. Look at me. and I'm not really joking. And I really want to put that out there that I'm not joking. And I know I'm not joking because years ago, I was so insecure that I would say, look at me. And that's what I meant. When I say look at me, my inner voice is saying any person, including you right now, is damn lucky to spend one moment in my presence. That is not cockiness. That is confidence. And I'll tell you the distinction between confidence and cockiness. Confidence allows for greatness in other people. I am fortunate to spend one moment in your presence too. When you have two like-minded people that come from that level of confidence and certainty hanging out together, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. You've met my beautiful bride. You've met my family. You know that we instill confidence in them. And that is what, that's what a guy wants. A man is about production. We want to be able to say, look at what I've been able to do. And frankly, our woman is one of those things. So many times I think that people get hung up on physicality, and physicality's got nothing to do with attractiveness. Physicality comes in all shapes and forms. My beautiful bride is perfect for me. She is what I would choose. The very fact that I say that out loud means that I got smart in the course of my life and realized that I was choosing wrong time after time after time after time. If you are not finding what you want in a man, My recommendation is ponder and say, what have I not been asking for properly? And, the one thing that for me changed everything for me is at one point I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I made a major distinction. I asked God for someone kind. That was the only criteria. Didn't care about age, didn't care about looks, didn't care about body shape, didn't care about anything. I said, God, bring me someone kind. And when that was the number one thing on my list, I got the whole package. I got this gorgeous, sexy, beautiful, smart, funny, amazing human being. I got the whole package. And at the same time, what I do is I win her over every single day. And I think that that's the other piece, is that I don't care if you're the man or the woman. Erica wins me over every single day with her little acts of kindness and her big acts of kindness. She's always thinking about me, always saying, what else can I do for him? Yet making sure that her needs are met as well, making sure that she's planting on fertile soil, because that's the other side of the coin. Is sometimes people get into a relationship that's all giving and no receiving. And I say, run, Forrest, run, because those kinds of relationships will never be good. Those narcissists that create those kinds of circumstances, they're poison people. They're toxic, and we've got to stay away from them. We have some friends that I love very much. I love them both. And one of them, they got married, and I never thought they were suited for each other. I always had a feeling I love them both. I just didn't think they were suited for each other. And one of them changed the deal of the agreement after they got married. And since relationships are built on agreements, that you need to understand what those agreements are. You said something else, have them take me off the market, basically. And, a mutually exclusive relationship. That's all well and good if that's what both of you want. And many people want that, except not all people want that. Not all people have the same idea of relationship. So as you get into relationship, the final thing that I will say, and again, you are gorgeous, you're smart, you're funny, you're kind, you're the package, except you need to put out into the universe exactly what you want. How often do you like having sex?
As often as I can.
Are we talking 100 times a day?
No.
Are we talking 10 times a day?
A couple times.
Okay, you're giggling, and so this is the point I want to make. A couple times. Is a couple times 2? Is a couple times 5? Finally, I get to talk about sex. I mean, 3 days, and thank you.
You're welcome.
This is an important question.
Yeah.
Twice? 3 times?
I guess it just depends on the day.
I got it. So if you're on vacation, maybe.
I guess I don't set a limit.
Hi, Sterling, by the way. My son's watching the show. Oh my God, what are they talking about?
Bernie.
Well, I guess this is the day we have that conversation. So here's my point. If I like drinking coffee 3 times a day, and it's really important to me, my significant other drinks coffee with me, then I better tell them that, I like drinking coffee 3 times a day, and I really want to drink coffee 3 times a day with someone else.
Yeah.
I don't like camping. I don't understand camping. I don't understand why people would put themselves through all of that hard work to sleep on the ground where it's cold, uncomfortable, and risk having wild animals eat me alive. I don't get it. And so when I met Erica, I said, I make you a little promise. I don't think we'll ever go camping, not once. And she said, oh my gosh, thank you. My idea of camping is a 5-star hotel. The other thing is that Erica, as you know, is substantially younger than me. So when we met, I told her, look, I managed nightclubs when I was 21. I have no desire to go back to nightclubs. Well, you're about to turn 21. If that's something you think you might want to do, we probably won't be a good fit. And so by putting all of that on the table early, it's so hard for people to do that early because they're afraid, gosh, I'm having fun and I want this person to stick around. I want people to run away. I hire slowly and fire quickly. If I have a teammate that's working with me and they more than once fall short or don't follow through or finish something or frankly disappoint me, I just say, you know what, we're not a fit. Let's move on. Because I'd rather not do that a month or 2 months or 5 months or a year into it. The people that work with me are amazing. I've got the most loyal team. I've got just the most remarkable human beings with me, and I am very grateful for them. I'd suggest 2 things. Number 1, make sure you're putting yourself in target-rich environments. There's no better place for a person like you who's motivated, who's inspired, who's beautiful, who's confident, to meet somebody other than my seminars, frankly. And I'll go so far as to say my seminars. And the reason is I believe I train both men and women well. I believe I train them on how to respect each other, how to treat each other, and how to make sure that they're pouring well into each other in a way that everybody feels appreciated. I guarantee you, Megan, that there are, and anytime you come to a turning point, there are at least 5 or 6 perfect men for you in the audience that when you tell them I like drinking coffee 3 times a day, they'll look at you and say, well, I've got a Keurig. Come on over, baby. Hey, you're totally loved. That was a great question. Thank you for being here. Thank you for adding so much class, beauty, and sex appeal to the show today. And stick around. You might win $1,000.
Awesome. Thank
you. Bet. Good question. Yeah, my children wanted to watch the show today. They didn't watch the last 2 days, so they wanted to watch the show today. So, children, Daddy's just babbling on. Don't believe anything I say. I'm just talking. Sterling Maximus and Prosperity, though, I want you to know everything I say about you being the most amazing children in the world is true, and I love you. What else we got? We got Luis Anthony Rios. Luis, welcome, friend. This is Shaved Head Day. It's got to be. And I got to tell you, my wife is over there right now. She's in the green room, as you know. She's in the green room taking care of all the calls. There's my beautiful. You can put the camera back on Erica. Yeah, best looking part of our show. And that's Anthony Escamilla, my executive assistant. I love him. When I was talking about loyal people that I love so much, he was one of the people I was talking about. Erica's over there screening all the callers. I'm not surprised that pretty much everybody except for Megan is a guy with a shaved head because her father has a shaved head too. So
and my brother.
And her brother. So Erica thinks the perfect head of hair looks just like us. Welcome, friend. You are muted. I love it. You're muted. Unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I've been great to see you again, Marshall. I've been reading your book, and there's 3 scripts in there, and I just been doing the profit script for the past 2 weeks. But I was wondering how to incorporate the other scripts. Do I cycle through them? And what's the best way to use this book effectively?
Hey, the best way to use that book effectively is to get to a live turning point. And I have a special gift for you. You're in line right now because you got on the air to win $1,000 cash. I also, though, have a gift for you. I'm going to give you 2 $3,000 tickets to come join me at Turning Point Live. So you can come be with me live or come to one of my satellite events. And that is the best way to understand the subconscious reprogramming that we teach inside of psychoneuroduplication. That is the most effective way. Also, I'm going to make a special note. You can contact the office. 1-800-92-POWER is our 800 number. 1-800-92-POWER. You can contact the office. Let customer service know that I'm going to give you a digital download of Passion, Profit, and Power. I'm going to give you the audio program of Passion, Profit, and Power, where those 3 sections on Passion, Profit, and Power are already pre-recorded in my voice so that you can listen to the subconscious reprogramming and get the most impact out of that. How's that for an awesome gift?
Incredible. Thank you so much, Mr. Sell.
You are very welcome. What do you do for a living?
I'm doing real estate acquisitions for
Fantastic.
a family.
Where are you calling from?
I'm here in Los Angeles, California.
Then you have every reason in the world to get down to Southern California, down to San Diego on January 21, 22, 23. That's when our next live turning point is going to be in Del Mar, California. So make sure you join us. You're going to love it. No better environment than the live environment to be able to connect with what we're doing. You're going to meet a lot of really cool people. Are you single?
No, I'm married at the moment. Yeah.
Married at the moment. That was an interesting way to position that.
Well, yeah. It's been a rough ride. Yeah.
Bring your bride down. Bring your bride down. Sometimes an outside voice speaking into a relationship can help people have clarity and help people be grateful for what they have. And maybe it's a tweak or two, because that usually is what it is for everything, whether it's our health, whether it's our relationships or our wealth. Usually it's not an overhaul. Usually it's a tweak. So get your bride down there to the event, and you especially, whether or not she decides she wants to come, you get to the event, because all you can do is keep pouring in well into all of your life.
Absolutely. I'm there. I'll see you there. Thank you so much.
All right, Luis. God bless you, brother. Take care.
Thank you.
You bet. Well, this has been great. The calls just are pouring in. I see the green room is full. And, I was wondering on day one whether or not there would really be an interest in what we're doing. I was wondering whether or not we would have people even calling in or even watching the program. It's very awesome to me that we are, and that we are seeing people that have really good questions too. One of the things that I know is that we're all in this together. And sometimes we don't realize that other people are challenged by the very same things that we are challenged by on a regular basis. You don't know, as I've mentioned before, who kicked someone's cat. You don't know if somebody is struggling financially. You don't know. I have a good friend of mine that just posted on Facebook yesterday that he was dealing with cancer and that he was going in for his second surgery. And again, you don't know. You don't have any idea what somebody might be have happening in their life in that very moment. You don't know if somebody is sad. And so if you're somebody that needs someone to speak well into your life, watch this program. Get into the green room. I see the green room is just about full. I think there may be one slot. Click the link. Get in the green room. I'm going to get to as many calls as I can today and answer as many questions as I can. And then at the end of it all, I want you guys also inside the chat to tell me. At the end of the show, we're going to select a winner of the $1,000 cash. I want you in the chat, though, to also let me know, do you want me to do this 5 days a week? Do you want me to do this every single day? Would it be useful to you? And the thing that's going to be the turning point for me, the thing that's going to make me want to do this every single day, 5 days a week, couple hours a day at the top of the year is numbers. I'll say it blatantly. You know, we have 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 10,000 people. I'll be motivated. I'll be inspired. I'll want to do it. And I also made a promise on day one, and we're so far from it, I haven't brought it back up again. On day one, I said that I was committed to giving away $1,000 cash for 3 days in a row minimum. I also made a promise and a challenge, actually. And what my challenge was is I said, hey, put 2,000 people on the live stream simultaneously, and I will give that number, that was the number of viewers at the peak, I'll give that dollar amount away the next day. Put 10,000 people, I'll give $10,000 away the next day. 50,000 people, 50K, because I would love to be challenged. Nothing would be more amusing to me, nothing would be more fun to me than for you guys to put 100,000 people on it and then get back on the show and say, okay, dude, are you going to give $100,000 away? You promised, because I'm a man of my word. I will. So all I can say is pump it up, baby. Pump up the numbers. Tell your friends. You got to share this stream on social media. Let them know you're watching. Let them know we're having fun. Hey, Judy. Always awesome to see you. Look at that beautiful face. Welcome home.
Thank you.
You are muted. There we go. Where are you calling in from?
Am I still muted? Can you hear me now?
I can just barely hear your volume. I think your microphone needs to be turned up.
Okay, is that better?
You're very slight. I can only hear you a little bit. Not at all now. We love technology. That's okay. We're still live, though, so we're still giving you a shot to figure that out. So,
would you like me to tell you what the question is?
yeah, well, Erica's going to tell me what your question is while you're fiddling around with your microphone, so I can get started on the answer. What's her question?
Monday, you said first million is the most difficult. If people have been working 10 plus years, you have probably already earned at least $1 million, but may not have a lot after living. With that said, is your advice different depending on the age of the person? How is it different? Do you think mindset, background, or external support play most into success?
Great question. Very great question. The basis of the question that I got, Judy, was people have worked hard for a long time, maybe years, maybe decades even, and they've made collectively $1 million. They haven't made $1 million in 1 year. And do I think that weighs into the opportunity for people to have success? Yes, I do. And here is why. Reality is created by validation. So if people are living a life where the validation is $50,000 a year is a lot, then their brain starts saying, okay, I should learn to be happy on $50,000 a year. The day you make the month you make $50,000, you say, oh, okay, I can make $50,000 a month. Gosh, what was I ever thinking before? And it was tweaks, it was shifts, it was changes of focus. And then one day you make $50,000 in a weekend and you say, holy cow, not only is it possible, I just did it. And your whole reality changes. And so when I say your first million is the most difficult one to make, when you sit back and you say, I just made $1 million in a year. So you've got making $1 million in a lifetime down. You figured that out. You know it's doable for you. What I want is that $1 million a year net joyfully. And that's key. $1 million per year net joyfully, not gross. You can gross $1 million and lose 10 million. And not just the money, it's got to be joyfully, because if it's not joyfully, what's the point? And so for me, what I want to keep coming back to you is I know you're in a delicate portion of your awareness right now. You're in a time where you're watching people around you, your mentors, me and some of your other mentors. You're watching us make money. And the key that I want you to keep coming back to again and again and again is it is your birthright. You are there. And there's so many people. You know, I turn 60 next year. And those 0 birthdays matter to us. I know they do. And, you know, right around 40, I started saying, wow, this has been a blink. 50, I went, this is really a blink. I'm saying this is barely a blink at 60 years old. I also know, though, that I am going to have my most productive time now because of that. And I believe most people do that. I think the Elon Musks or the Mark Zuckerbergs or the people that happen to stumble onto something at the time they were supposed to, I think they're rare. I think it's common, though, for people of our time, of our age, of a certain age. I think that this awareness, this hunger, call it desperation if you must. I won't call it desperation. I'll say hunger, though. This hunger that says, I want $1 million cash on the table in front of me, makes us ask different questions. And right now, that's where you are. Is that you've had this life that's been good. You've had this life that's allowed you time with your grandkids, that's allowed you to eat every day, that's allowed a safe roof over your head. You've had this good life. And suddenly you've been awakened and you've come to the realization, I could have $1 million a year joyfully net. And that's what you want. And so that's where your uneasiness is coming from. Once again, our muscles grow when they're stressed. When there's tension against our muscles, that's when we make the breakthroughs. One of the things that Turning Point does, as you know, because you've been to Turning Point a few times, one of the things that Turning Point does, and I warn people about this, is that it turns up your wantingness. It makes you want a better, bigger life. You know, you're at the Palace in Vegas for 3 days. Your brain starts saying, I want this. You come hang out at the beach house. You say, I want this. You ride in the private jet once or twice or 3 times, God forbid. You'll say, I want this all the time. And that wantingness is good when you can do this. And all of you that are taking notes, take this note especially. You've got to learn how to savor the wanting as much as the having. What do I mean by that? You've got to be able to enjoy being hungry as much as you enjoy the meal. You know, my beautiful bride, I could kiss her all day long. And right now I'm on the air. And while I think it might be a ratings boost, I will hold myself back and I will not kiss her on the air right now. I got to tell you, though, when I wrap this show up, it's the first thing I'm going to do when the cameras turn off, is that I love kissing her so much. In the meantime, though, I'm going to savor the wanting. I'm just going to enjoy the idea of where I'm going to. I am not a billionaire. That's not true. I'm a billionaire whose money has not yet been deposited in my bank account. And I look forward to the day that it's been deposited in the bank account, yet I'm not going to kick myself not being able to see it in my bank account today. I'm going to savor the wanting. And I'm going to ask myself questions, such as, would a billionaire do what you're doing right now? Would a billionaire view the world this way? Would a billionaire hold a grudge? Would a billionaire step over dollars to pick up dimes? Would a billionaire get angry at the process or angry at people? No. You know, I have lost substantial money investing in people and in projects and in businesses that didn't work. And I may have lost more money than most people watching this program. I also know I've made more money than most people watching this program because I was willing to recognize no risk means no goodies. We've got to be willing to risk. So great question. And a great question, you know, as I have matured, I've realized that my audience and the people that I speak to is right there with me. And I know that at this point in our lives, part of the question we're all asking ourselves is, what does our life mean? You know, what has been our legacy? And I know that you, because you're such a powerful person, I know that's something that you ponder and that you consider. And I want you to know that our legacy often is a reflection in the people that we are around. So when your grandkids are good people, when your children are good people, then that is our legacy. And I'm so proud of my kids. I'm so proud of their givingness and their heart of service to other people that again, I just, it's a pleasure to know you. It's a pleasure to be near you. It's a pleasure to know that we have begun a lifetime relationship together. And I thank Andrew for the introduction of us. Stay tuned. You just may win $1,000. And with that $1,000, we're going to buy you a mic. We're going to buy you a microphone. You are loved by Judy. It's that time, isn't it? It's that time in our season that we've got to start saying, what am I doing that's going to matter? You know, when I die, will I have made an impact upon the planet? Will I have spoken to enough people's lives to have this message carry on? And that's where I want to be for you. I want to carry this message. I want you to, during the course of this day, go talk to some people and say, hey, you know, I heard something on Sex, Money, and Power, SMP with Marshall Silver. I heard something that really is important. And I thought you should hear this because it pertains to what you're going through right now. We got Phil Grecki. Phil, welcome to SMP Live.
Hi, great. Mic check. Can you hear me?
I can. Good job.
Excellent. Hey, so where I'm living is Cupertino, but I'm calling from Wilmington, Delaware.
Awesome.
So thanks for taking the call. The quick version of my question is, how can you be successful in a relationship, whether it's romantic or other kind of relationship, when one partner is financially insecure? Any ways to bolster another person's self-confidence in a self-responsible, healthy way? And so here's the background of this, if it's helpful at all. So my girlfriend, she's a stunning woman, but she despises the grind of her work. And I find that she's very financially insecure. And so she says that she desires support from me, but providing this emotional support is pretty taxing on me, and it kind of reeks of this sugar daddiness, which is a very big turnoff for me. So can you recommend any healthy solutions? I mean, besides ending the relationship or recommending her to Turning Point, but that's kind of the background that I wanted to share.
I love this question. I cannot tell you how much I love this question. We were joking before we went on the air. And I was joking with Erica, who's, you know, screening the calls right now. And I said, who's your daddy? And she said, Dale Wood is my daddy, who was her actual father. And I went, oh my gosh, no, who's your daddy? She said, you mean who's my sugar daddy? You're my sugar daddy. And we joked about it because I am her sugar daddy. We have a relationship that she takes care of me and I take care of everything else. And your question is really strong and really good. And I have a bigger question for you, and then I'll answer your question. If you were making $1 billion and your gal, what's your girlfriend's name, by the way?
Her name is Oksana.
Oksana, if you had $1 billion and Oksana did not have to work, she did not have to grind, would you be willing to take care of her financially?
Yes.
Good. So it's really not a question about her. It's a question about you. And I'll tell you, this is such an awesome question, and I am so glad you've asked this. Here's the deal. It's a woman often doesn't want to admit that she would like someone to take care of her. Erica, when we first met, I warned her, I said, there's a couple things you should know. I'm wealthy. And if we enter into this relationship, you'll live a life that you will get used to, and you will want this. God forbid we break up. And you've been used to flying on private jets and, you know, going from palace to beach house and going wherever you wanted on these extravagant trips and having anything you want, anytime you wanted it. And should we break up, God forbid, you'll be used to that. The other thing that I warned her about is I said, should we hang out and you don't work? You don't have a profession. You don't have a job. You don't have a business. And we break up, you'll have no means either. And I warned her, I said, you got to be careful about that. That said, I have coached guys who were dating women that they loved very much, that were beautiful, that were smart, that were fun, that were sexy, that fulfilled all the things that they wanted in a woman, except they expected them to pay for lunch. They expected them to pay for, you know, any outings, any entertainment on a consistent basis. And I've had guys that I've coached and counseled that said they broke up with their girlfriend because their girlfriend never bought them lunch. And my response to that is, dude, you do know how expensive it is to train a new one, right? You do realize how much how much it costs to replace the one you got. And so what I always encourage men or women, men especially though, because I think so many times there's a wussification of men that says, you know, we've got to be equal with women. Well, if you need to be, that's all well and good. That's not suggesting women aren't equal to men. What I'm saying is the truth is the world's unfair. It is easier in this time for men to make money than it is for women. It's not fair, ladies. I didn't create it. No guy on the planet that's here right now created that circumstance. It just is. And if you're offended by me saying that, then I get it. I understand. The truth, though, is that there's nothing stronger than a partnership. The reason that I produce at the level that I produce is Erica takes care of everything for me. Everything. She watches out for me. She's got me on endless supplements right now to make sure that I maintain health. You saw me cross my eyes and roll my eyes at that. I know it's for my good, and I'm grateful that she does that for me because Lord knows I'd be off them already. Even though I know it's what's needed, it's what's best for I'd be off of it. Erica is always looking forward. Have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? So for me to take care of her, and excuse me, for her to take care of me and then me take care of everything, it's just easier. So one of the things, if money were out of the question, would Oksana be the girl for you?
It's possible, and there's one thing that I wanted to add here too, Marshall, is because I've had this experience with a previous partner that made more money than me. And I remember having this experience, and my past partner said, "Is this an issue for you?" And I said, it's not an issue for me because this previous partner, I could tell that she was in sales. She was very engaged with what she was doing. She was very fulfilled. She was getting the rewards from, I think, similar to what you have been preaching over the years, is an alignment with what you're passionate about. And having the universe reward you for having that alignment. And that's such a big turn on for me to have somebody that has a fulfilling life of their own. And so now to have this experience where somebody doesn't know what is fulfilling for them, is financially insecure. It's the pendulum has shifted, and that is very not attractive for me. And so that's why that's the nature of this question is people are struggling, as you know, not having an alignment with their skill set and having the proper rewards for providing that to society and having that rewards. But what can you do for people? I mean, I have my journey, she has her journey. So what can you provide to the audience here that also might be experiencing this?
Well, that was a projection, and you just offset your question and put it on anybody else in the audience. So I want to point that out. So that's kind of not owning it. I want to tell you this though. You're not with your ex, the one that was making all the money and completely fulfilled. You're not with her.
That's right.
Something inside of you, or inside of her, or inside of both of you didn't like that circumstance. I like the fact that I get to spend as much time as I do with my wife, with Erica. I'm okay with the fact that I am the sole breadwinner in our household. I am quite okay with the fact that anything Erica wants financially, she gets through my efforts. The fact of the matter is I produce better because of Erica. Now, that said, Erica's purpose is to take care of me and our children. That is her profession. That is her job. I would never want that job. It is way harder than mine. And so once again, that is the thing that I ask you, is that you created this circumstance with your girlfriend. You let go of the circumstance with the woman that was making more money than you. She said, would you be okay with me making more money? You said, yeah, I'm fine with that, except some part of you maybe wasn't. I don't know how I would be if Erica made more money than me. I don't know that I would have ended up with her, because what that would have meant is substantially less time with me. What I mean by that is if we were two professionals, at one point, she wanted to launch a particular business that I knew was going to take a lot of time away from me and the kids. And I didn't want her to. And I really didn't want her to. And she went and put her foot in the water and realized that that's what it was going to end up being, substantial time away from me and the kids. And she said, you know what? I really don't want that. I'd rather be with you. And so for you, here is what I really want to get back to for you, that money cures most things. The one thing that I will say about Erica is that I have never met a more grateful human being. Every single day. She thanks me. Today, she thanked me about creating financial abundance to be able to help her and our family celebrate all holidays, including Christmas, exactly the way that they want to. She thanks me every single day for the life that we live. 100 times a day, my children say, thank you, Daddy, for loving us, which is code for thank you for working so hard. And so, I get back to the fact that when I train you on how to make more money than you ever thought you could make, this question becomes moot. You don't even ask Oksana the question. I don't think she's insecure about money. I think she's insecure about being honest with you. I think she adores you from what you've said. I think that what she really wants to do is to make her profession, her career, taking care of you. And if that's the case, if she's not a gold digger, just using you, if she's fulfilling every one of your needs, man, that's a good arrangement. That is a good agreement. That's the agreement that I have. Now, Erica's busy working screening calls for me right now. Our producer was headed to Colombia, and we knew she was going to be gone today. And so Erica said, I will come in, I will assist you, and I'll do this. Again, this is not about making money. This is about her supporting me. This is about her supporting what I'm doing. And so what you might ponder is not being in business with your girlfriend. You might ponder what's an arrangement that really works. What's something that really can inspire me? During the course of this entire conversation, we've talked about you and your relationship. I haven't talked about your business. What's your business?
Well, I'm just an employee as an engineer, and with a future towards life coaching, attend these types of seminars, and so very wealth centric. And so I'm thinking forward to respond to that point that you mentioned, Marshall, is that yes, what type of arrangement could be attractive for the girlfriend? She has mentioned living on a beach, having passive income, and just relaxing. And that she would be okay with that. If she wants to work and be passionate and have her own business, which she has her own business. Are you still there? Oh,
yep,
yeah.
Still here.
Yeah, and so she could be devoting all of her time to her business and being lightened up by her passions. And that's another kind of option that, and I've mentioned, it's all about agreements. And we've had those types of conversations, and it comes back to, are you doing something that fulfills you? And so I can't lead her to her own life path, and so that's why I mentioned something like a turning point is an excellent resource. And
yeah,
so
that is
anything to provide to her.
Yeah, you keep putting it on her, and you're the one on the call, and so that's the reason I keep bringing it back to you. Is I have no advice for her. She's not here. You're here. And I don't want you to put it onto her. I have had the experience of being in a relationship with a professional model and an actress who was devoted to their career, and it didn't work out. And I certainly didn't need them to be anything in particular. It didn't work out for me. And so now I am with somebody by my choice that takes care of me. It is a full-time job. I have no idea how Erica does what she does. I have no idea how she takes care of the kids and me. You keep coming back to the idea that if your gal, or it could be the one you're with now, or any number of women, if the gal you're with isn't working a full-time job, fully, impassioned by what they do, then my gosh, they must have money insecurities. When I'm suggesting it may be you that has the money insecurity. It may be you working a job as an employee, feeling frustrated, knowing that there's a limit to what you can make as an employee. And when you break through that and say, no, I'm way bigger than this, and you're clearly way bigger than this, which is the reason we're talking. And the fact that you're moldable talent, the fact that you're willing to even listen to me is awesome. That makes me know that there's a breakthrough about to occur for you. Here's what I want you to ponder. And I really want you to think about this, that you cannot make anybody, not the current girlfriend or a future girlfriend or any past ones, be anything else. And falling in love with someone's potential is dangerous. You got to be in love with who they are today, because who they are today will be magnified tomorrow. The gal you're with doesn't want to work. She doesn't want to have that business. She doesn't have that passion for it. I don't know if I asked Erica if she wanted to work. My guess is she would tell me no. I like taking care of you, Marshall. I like taking care of our family. I like the freedom to be at their music and jujitsu. And I like the ability to homeschool the kids. I like being able to spend as much time with you, have a cup of coffee or 3 in the middle of the afternoon if we want to. I love that for us. It works for us. And what I'm telling you is I'd like you to be so wealthy, this should be a non-question from your girl. The only question you would ask yourself of your girl, wife, girlfriend, or both is, am I happy Is she happy? Are we fulfilled? Because money cures most things. And that's the reason the show's called Sex, Money, and Power. Everything we want in our life boils down to our relationships, our prosperity, or our emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. There's nothing else. And so when we can harness the power of those items, everything works. And as much as money is the easiest of all of them, cure the money questions and the money will cure everything else. If you were a billionaire right now, would you be dating the woman you're dating?
That's a good question. Yeah. Thanks for
You are awesome, and I look forward to seeing you two have 2 tickets to Turning Point. You and the gal, or you and 5 other gals, come down to Turning Point in San Diego. I'm looking forward to seeing you next month. God bless you. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Marshall.
You're very welcome. You know, I knew you were going to do this, Erica. Erica said you're going to have so much fun doing this show. You're going to want to do it every single day, and I do. I love it. I love helping people. I'm so glad you are here. I pronounce that Surya. Surya. Awesome. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Surya, God bless. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from British Columbia, Vancouver. Canada.
We love BC. Yeah, we love Canada. We love BC.
Thank you,
Welcome.
sir.
How did you find my show?
Oh, I got one email, but I met you in a very interesting way that, sometimes when you lose something and you find something good also. So I lost something, but I found the best teacher in the world, that is you. And I bow to your knowledge and your guiding for me. Thank you so much.
Well, you get my vote for the money, by the way. The sucking up matters. Edification is a good thing. Surya, what's your question?
My question is, with your teaching, I'm definitely growing every day and every minute, actually.
My butt has dropped. I'm not hearing anything.
Can you? Okay.
I'm not hearing anything.
I'm not talking, that's why.
There you are. I can't. He said, I'm not talking, that's why. Now I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So yes, with your blessings and teaching, I'm definitely growing every day, every minute, and thank you so much for that. And I've been I'm importing stuff now with trying to build my own brand, and I'm quite a bit successful in my local area. But I definitely want to duplicate my business or what I do. And for that, of course, everybody, when they start something new, there's always insecurity, like hiring staff, strategy, marketing, and also how to start it. So that's what my main question is. And I'm pretty sure you always say nothing to fear, nothing, just go ahead. But still, I live with fear about thinking like how to start it actually in a different location or somewhere else.
Yeah, I always say everything starts, and some is better than none. And oftentimes, people won't write a book because subconsciously they believe, what if I write this book and nobody reads it? Understood. What if you write the book and everybody reads it? J.K. Rowling's getting rejected on Harry Potter so many times, still submitting it again and again and again. Me with my infomercial, getting turned down over 100 times, and finally just throwing up my hands and saying, I'm going to do it myself. Ultimately, at the end of the day, as Wayne Gretzky, to quote somebody from your neck of the woods, says, you miss every shot you don't take. And I think that the first question of the day from Dan was in alignment with this, is that we've got to keep taking shots. Even when we feel like we've missed a bunch of times, we have no choice. That's life. We've got to keep taking shots. And we've got to keep taking riskier and riskier and riskier shots, because that's the only place that a bigger victory is. Judy was asking about, as we mature, how do we, when do we throw up our hands and say, I don't think I'm going to make it, all in 1 year or 1 month or 1 weekend for that matter. Maybe it's collectively I'm going to make $1 million. And I say, no, our first target is 1 million in a year. Our first target is 1 year, 1 million net joyfully. And so in your business, the thing that I will say is you've always got to get back to basics. And you've got to ask yourself, what's working, what's worked in the past, and always build on an existing foundation. Don't reinvent the entire wheel. Don't burn down the whole house and destroy the foundation. If you've got to get rid of the house, keep the foundation and rebuild on the existing foundation. When my bride and I met, she asked if I ever thought I'd want to be married again. And I said, absolutely not. I was married twice and I have no desire whatsoever to be married. And she said, okay. And she just treated me like her husband. And when I was being treated like a husband is supposed to be treated, I said, wow, I kind of like this experience. Yes, I think I'd like to marry you. Please marry me. I've had fortunes. I was born broke. I made money. I lost it all. I made money again. I married the wrong person. I lost it all. I made money again, made some mistakes, lost most of it, made money again. And I realized that everything is temporary. And being attached to anything is a great way to lose everything. Having a grip so solid on something is a sure way to make it run away. I win my wife over every single day. I win my customers over every single day. I win my children over every single day. I fall in love with myself again every single day by pouring into those things in my life. Was that helpful to you?
Very much. And also, I like to mention that I all the time listen to your talks, and you mentioned to grow, we need to follow steps: spirituality, health, relationship, and then money. I try to follow all the time, but sometimes I mess up, maintaining that. Is there any way, like basic thing that, so that we don't mess up? I don't know why sometimes we give too much importance to, work or money instead of the way you A, B, C, D, you give the steps.
Yeah, I talk about that. I talk about number one, health. I talk about the first thing is mind. The second thing is physical health. Next is relationships. Next is money. What I mean by that is if you don't have clear mental acuity, you can't make healthy choices for your body. If you're not making healthy choices for your body, you won't have any relationships. You'll be dead. If you don't have any relationships, it can't create the wealth that you desire. And so while I put them in that order of importance, which they are, I also know, yes, you got to work on everything. And if right now the challenge is, it's easy to have good health care when you don't have to wait for your government to provide it for you. It's easy to have great relationships when you have money, because I promise you, being rich makes you better looking. Trust me on this one. I also know, though, that most people aren't joyful. And joy comes from our mind. And the moment you can become joyful with top ramen that costs you 50 cents a bag will be the day that you can also enjoy, steak and lobster, whatever your luxury dish of choice is. So the thing I will tell everybody is the first thing you want to focus on is simply choosing to be happy. I got my coffee this morning and the person said, how are you? And I said, always awesome. And they looked up and they like smiled. They said, wow, that's great. I said, yes, it's a choice. Every single day, it's a choice. How do I want to be today? Always awesome. Fantastic. Perfect in every way. Or worst case scenario, as you know, getting better all the time. So, hey, get down here to a live Turning Point. You've got 2 tickets. Come join me in January. I would love to see you. You are totally loved. Thanks for calling in. Stick around. You just might win $1,000. God bless you too, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We are getting ready to wrap up here. We've got time for one more call. And Long Lee, you are my final call. Nice to see you, friend.
Nice to see you, Marshall. How are you doing?
I'm always awesome, but you knew that answer.
Of course, always awesome. That's the way it works.
So where are you calling from?
I am currently in San Diego still. After the 25th, I am in Phoenix.
Lovely. Well, I'm so glad you're here. It was great to meet you in person, and I'm glad you got on the call.
Fantastic. My question for you is, when I have a big vision, I know I need to sacrifice a lot of time, especially when I'm bootstrapping and reinventing myself. So there's a lot of sacrifices with friends and other relationships. How do I manage that where friends and former friends and people around me are currently taking things personally because I'm not spending the quality time that I'm working with them because I'm bootstrapping everything? So how do you manage that, especially when you're starting off and reinventing yourself?
Yeah, many things. As much as people don't want to hear it, a woman says, we went on this date and the date went really well, and then he never called me. Why is that? And the answer is real simple. He's not into you. If he was into you, he would have called you again. And who wants to be with somebody that's not into us? Not me. And, you know, as much as it's not fun to know people have their reasons for doing what they do, I have a dear friend, a guy friend that I really like a lot. And I found that I was getting a cold shoulder from him. And I kept reaching out and I kept just saying, hey, how you doing? What's going on? And he either wouldn't answer or the answers would be really short. And finally, I sent him a message. I said, I get a sense something might have come up between us. Whatever it is, I don't know what it is. And I'd like to make it right because you mean a lot to me. And if there's something that I can do, or if I've offended you in any way, let's chat about it, because I'd like to get back to being great friends like we've always been. I got zero answer. And I left it alone, and I will leave it alone. I won't reach out again. Lord knows the text may not have gone through. He may have lost his phone, got a new phone number. I don't care what it is. I didn't hear from him. And that alone just tells me he's not into it. Life is about being on your path. And if you're on a path and you're traveling, you've got to stay on your path. Your path can't be a combination of everybody else's path. Your path has to be your path. And if you're true to yourself and you're on your path, you'll look to the right and you'll see somebody on their path. You'll look to your left, you'll see somebody on their path. Pretty soon, if you keep staying on your path, every time you look over, you'll see somebody else that's on a very similar path. That's the people, the person and the people that you want to hang out with. Those are the people you want to interact with. Again, I love my family. I have 10 siblings. And we're very different. We're very unique. None of them are really like me. I often thought that babies were switched at the hospital, and I came to find out some truths that I wasn't so far off. And at the same time, I still love my family. I spend as much time with them as I can. And anytime I spend with them, I spend joyfully, as if it's the last time I will ever spend with my family. I don't regret not spending more time with them. If I regret it, then I spend time with them. And you need to do the same thing. You know, last we talked, you had a huge opportunity, and I still would like to assist you. In fact, partner up with you on that opportunity. I believe that together we can bring a lot to the table, and I believe together we can do a lot for that particular large client that you are working with. And so that's kind of how the world works. That, you know, you brought that up. I left it on the table. You and I chatted a bit about it. You end up back here. For whatever reason, you were selected out of a completely full green room to be my last caller of the day. And everything happens for a reason, and it serves us. I believe in a word called serendipity. Serendipity is when the circumstances of our life keep aligning in such a way that we end up getting everything we want. My wife, my relationship with my bride is 100% serendipitous. The fact that you and I are talking now, the fact that you happen to be in San Diego when I was doing a virtual event and then ended up coming down to the live event, and that we are talking again, is serendipitous. There is something we are supposed to do together. So rather than force your life to happen in a way other people are expecting it to, or giving you guilt trips about it not being how they want it to be, you're not spending enough time with me. You know, if you really loved me, you'd talk to me more often. That's not what's going on. And so the fact of the matter is, we all create our lives exactly the way that we want to. Even though circumstances happen in our lives, we all get a chance to frame those circumstances in a way that serve us. So all I can say to you, stay on your path, stay true to your path. You can love someone, and I love you, and I don't really have any more time to give to you. I love you, and I appreciate the moments that we get to talk on the phone. I love you, and if you keep guilting me out, I won't want to talk to you anymore. I just got to tell you that up front. Make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that.
You're very welcome, Long. God bless, brother.
Have a great one.
All righty. We are wrapping the show up, and this has been fun. This has been quite the celebration. These past 3 days have been amazing. I know somebody is monitoring the stream on StreamYard. And as we wrap up, this is your time to do two things. Number one, get in the chat. And if you'd like me to do more of these shows after the top of the year, I want you to say so in the chat. Marshall, come back after the first of the year. We really want to see more of this show. You can really prove your love by sharing this link, sharing this show on social media so that it goes out to the ends of the earth. And then the final thing you need to do right now, and we already have some votes coming in, I know that. Right now, we had a number of people that were on the call. Dan, Philip, Megan, Luis, Judy, Phil, Surya, and just then Long. Was there anybody else? Was that it? Lovely. That's a lot of callers we got in these 90 minutes. As we're wrapping up this show, this is your chance to vote for one of them. And get in there. Let's see their names popping up. We had so many great questions today. So many really amazing questions. To remind you, everybody that got on the air, all of you are already winners. All of you are invited to come join me January 21, 22, 23 in Del Mar, California at Turning Point. Would love to see you and a guest. That's a $6,000 value. In addition, whoever is most voted for in the chat right now, that person is going to receive a $1,000. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. $1,000 cash from me. My gift to you. Put it in the chat and we will let you know. Hey, I've had a lot of fun. It's been a great 3 days. My son was singing We Three Kings yesterday. I told him my version. We three kings of Orient are trying to smoke a rubber cigar. It exploded. It was loaded. Bang! We two kings of Orient are. And he said, what does that mean? My wife had to explain the loaded cigar. I didn't say the last one. We one king of Orient are trying to smoke a rubber cigar. It was loaded. It exploded. Bang! God rest ye merry gentlemen. All my jokes are just for me. Who is the winner today? Erica, do we have a winner? Our winner is Megan. Winner. Nice dinner, Megan.
Yes,
and then, by the way,
thank you.
Yes, guys like to be asked out to dinner. Guys like to be asked out. So
Okay.
this just may be the answer to a lot of questions.
Oh, right.
You are awesome. What are you going to do with $1,000?
Well, you brought up a really good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually in the process of, investing in a real estate thing. So I would love to apply that and have it pay me back in the future. So
Life is good. Smart, sexy, kind, beautiful. You are the whole package. So
thank
any
you.
man is fortunate to spend one moment with you, let alone a lifetime. And I pray
Yes.
that guy is watching this broadcast right now, and we could have one more success story for Sex, Money, and Power Live with me, Marshall Silver.
Woo!
I totally loved.
Thank you. Thank
Take
you.
care, Megan.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Hey, everybody, if you're watching this broadcast right now, from my family, the Silvers, Erica, Sterling, Maximus Prosperity, and myself, Marshall Silver, we wish you happy holidays on behalf of Certainty International, from Anthony and Kevin and the whole team at Certainty and all the folks here that helped produce this show. I say thank you, everybody. God bless you. Merry Christmas. And I look forward to potentially seeing you at Turning Point in January in Del Mar, and maybe even on additional broadcasts at the beginning of next year. God bless everybody. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. See you soon.